Right, okay. So the aim of the session today is not the accounts of the system. Yeah, it is to do with the reporting of charges and payments made through the system, i.e. membership renewals, outings charges, group fees, etc. But not the accounts. We'll come on to the accounts next week. So the good thing about this bit here is that all the information is held in one table. So there are reports, and we'll look at the reports, but it's relatively easy to produce your own reports in terms of if you need to know information, and we'll come on to that a little later on. But if you do need reports and are not able to do them within your own U3A, there are others around. David Chilvers from Worthing and Neil from Crew have volunteered to help anybody with any reports they need to write. And these reports can be customized and put into the system so they look like for reports that people can just click on, whoever you allocate them to. But we'll come back to reports a little later on. So, okay, I think now the best place is to start with the Treasurer's dashboard, and then we'll work away from that. So let's see if I can share my screen. Right. So can everybody see the screen? Or if one person, I suppose that's good enough. Right. Okay. So if we start with the Treasurer's dashboard, is the sort of key place where all this information is available to you. So the first thing to say is that it's divided into years. So here you've got the summary for 21-22, but by moving here back, you can move back to last year and see the information for last year. As you can see, it's divided into two parts. There's the top part here is the financial summary, and the bottom part is the cash summary. Basically, the idea is that the financial summary keeps the information correct for the year in which it is applied to. So, this was for year 2021, and this is the membership. Then all payments made to do with that membership, whether or not they were paid in the previous year, doesn't matter. They will go into here. So this £27 doesn't matter when it's paid. It will have been paid. It's been paid for 2021 membership, whereas the bottom part of it deals with cash. So it's now when the payment is made and not what it's made for. So we'll look at some examples of why that differs. But immediately you can see that although we've only in 2021 there was only been £527 worth of charges, in actual fact there's been £590 worth of income, and that is due to early payments for the year after. We'll look at it in a bit more detail in a minute. So I think the first thing to do is to have a look at these accounts here. And where we go here, we go to payment options. Well, if I log in, we go to payment options. So section top here called card account balances. It's a bit of a misnomer now. It's called card account balance, but it's actually it really is the system accounts, the accounts that are held within the system, because there can be manual payments into it, direct debit payments into it as well. So really, it just is the accounts for the system, and beneath it are your bank accounts, and those are the actual your actual accounts, and you can you link them together at this point here. So you put your bank accounts in. So I put 3 in. You don't have to have 3. You can if you've only got the single one, then you can just make these unused and just have the one. But it's set up with three there for you to use if you need to. And then you link the accounts within the system to the bank account. So in effect, here we've got three bank accounts and 3 internal accounts, and each one's linked to the individual one. But it's you could quite easily link them. These you could then link both group and membership to a single bank account if you wanted. So really, I think probably it's fair to say the card accounts, these 3 relate to the top part of the Treasurer's dashboard we looked at, and the bank accounts relate to the bottom part. So if we go back to the Treasurer's dashboard again. So those 3 accounts that we saw in there are the 3 that we see here, and then the bit at the bottom here are the 3 accounts that we looked into as the bank accounts. So okay, everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Right. So what we have to look at now is a number of links here, which you can link to other reports. So here, let's have a look at the probably the one used most, the membership. So this is the membership account. It is the default account for when you run your renewals. I'll show all the members just. So when the renewals is run, it sets up the charges for each of the people who are being charged, and so at any time you can come into here either on an alphabetic or a complete list and see the charges that have been raised for each individual. Then it gives you details of online payments or manual payments. So online payments, that's either credit cards or direct debits, and the amount that's paid, or manual payments, which is when you do your your renewal updates. Just click, and that's showing that information, and then it shows if there's anything outstanding and any fees that are appropriate. So so that's the sort of first level of drill down, and then if you want to drill down even further and have a look at a particular person's record, you can click on there, and this is the, if you like, this is the treasurer's view, or the internal view of the account. It shows all the charges that are raised, all the payments that's been made, due dates, etc. So and gives as much the information that you've put in at various points about the charge or the payment that you've made. So Right. So this membership one, you've got here the total of what we've just looked at here, the charges that have been raised, the payments manual. In terms of refunds, manual refunds can be done. I should have shown you when I was there. Manual refunds. Oh, that's the wrong one. Clicked on the wrong one. Never mind, doesn't matter. So, just trying to find someone who hasn't been paid multiple times. All right, that's not a good one. Hang on, I'll try another one. Right, so here's a payment of £25 that was made for a trip, and by clicking the refund, the system will reverse everything there and will take them back out of the group that they're in, or reverse the repayment. Now that's done because that's a manual payment. It's done straight away. If you're talking about online payments, then the refund process is more complex, or can be more complex, with multiple authorizers of refunds, which you can do. But I imagine it's not. I don't think that's greatly used, to be honest. So right, okay, back to the Treasurer's dashboard again. So you've got the same. So each one of the accounts has got information, and if you click on the groups one, this time you get a list of the groups, the payment groups, or the fees groups, depending on where you've allocated which one. You can allocate a group payment to either one of the groups or the events accounts. So these top two are items that have been added against the groups one, and there's another. If we go into the events one, similar again. This time it's and again, if we click on there, it will show the members of that particular group and whether the charges that have been raised because they've applied to join, whether they've paid or whether they've partially paid, or in fact,
Steve here, just to throw you, not saying a curveball. I know this is obviously the test system. We hopefully will be setting up for our away day group.
Yeah.
They have their own ID code that will show up in the system, I'm assuming. And obviously they can call it whatever they're going to do. You've got Paris in, spring in Paris and Berlin, whatever.
Yeah.
The problem, recently that we found out is that anything that it can include an overnight stay, but anything longer than that should not show up in the system. Is that how everybody understands the payment side of it? So like, if you're going to be staying 2 nights or more, you actually should be doing that straight through to the travel agent. Is that how everybody else understands it?
This is not from the system point of view, but from U3A guidance point of view, is it?
Yeah.
Right, but you still might want to record the fact that these people have paid.
Right, so you can record it as in a dummy account, shall we say?
Yes. Indeed, that's right. Yes,
Right,
so
okay,
you can keep control of it, but without actually taking any money. Well, I'll set up. I'll set towards the end. I'll set up a payment group and a
yeah,
group fee just to, and then we can go through the ins and outs of it. And
yeah,
at that
that would be
point.
very handy. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So let's go to the that's the top part. That's the financial summary. That's your income and expenditure, if you like, and the bottom part is your sort of cash flow side of things. And I think probably what I'll do is I'll go back to last year just to try and simplify it a little bit. So what we've got here is the last year's cash that's come in. And on this one here, this is the Barclays account, which could have membership entries and could have group entries if you've chosen to put it through the same account. And it gives you a breakdown by method of payment, direct debit, online, and any other method you've chosen. So let's have a look at just a simple one. We just have a look at what was paid by online. So again, you can see here that there's two payments here, £13, £14. They both should have a CH number against them. The reason the second one hasn't, because I had to sort of, for this demo, I had to slightly fiddle it, and therefore it ended up without a CH number. But every payment online that you do you will end up with a CH number against it, so you'll know what that payment is. And if you take that CH number, that's a sort of the unique identifier, and you can go into your Stripe if you want to. You don't obviously. There's if you want to sort of search it back a bit, if you go into the search in your Stripe using that number, you end up with the details of the payment. So although the system doesn't hold anything like the card number or anything like that, that's all held in Stripe. So if you want to get more information, you can do that by going into your Stripe account. It also gives other information. When I looked at earlier, oh yes, no, it even tells you where they paid it from for based on the IP address, and also other payments that have come through that IP address as well. So there's information. However, if you are planning to refund through the system, you can do a refund here, but if you do a refund here, it will put the system out of kilter with U3AWeb. So do the refund through the system, and it will do all the things all the way around, and keep both Stripe and U3AWeb in together, rather than otherwise you just get the difference. So that's the. So that gives you, so you can get the details, and obviously you can click on the member's name as well and go into their details from there as well. So the thing about this, you'll notice that this column at the bottom, it doesn't add up, and the reason for that is that because it adds up here the payments that have been made directly to you, that you paid into your account. So these top lines are ignored from payments because they come through in this column here, because you don't actually get £27 on a payment. You only get, well, in this particular case, £25.82, because they charge a fee. So this next one column here, transfers, tells you how much is actually being transferred from, well, in this case, Stripe, and also your fees. So that adds up to the £27. Comes down to the bottom here, and so the 591 represents the total amount of money you actually got into the bank account. You can see here that the payment has been made for direct debit, but it's still sitting in Go Cardless GoCardless hasn't made the transfer yet. So if they haven't made the transfer, then you don't see it in your account because it hasn't arrived yet. So you can see that this 2650 is still waiting for GoCardless to actually transfer it across to you. So when that happens, then that figure will appear up here. And
what does GoCardless mean?
GoCardless is the account you use for direct debits. So in the way that we use Stripe for credit card payments, so they are separate, if you like, financially websites, which it's a process, if you like, that we use to take the direct debits, and they are all sort of registered with all the financial institutions that you need to be to actually handle the money. The idea is that this system doesn't really handle things like bank accounts or credit cards. It uses this back system to do that, and these are sort of international companies that do this. So if you decide you want to take payments by direct debit, then you create an account in GoCardless or in Stripe if you're going to take online credit or debit cards. And then as part of that process, you link the two systems together so that they can talk to each other and process the money. So to say the money, I'll show an example in a minute of a payment. The system doesn't actually know. All it knows is that the payment's been made. It doesn't know what credit card it's been made in, or that. That's all handled by Stripe or GoCardless.
What I didn't understand was how it's not in our bank. Because you said it's not in our bank yet. Why would it, if it's a direct debit, why would it not be in our bank?
Well, because so let's say if you run the renewal process, and there is a payment. So you want to tell, the first thing you do is to say, I want to take £26.50 or whatever it is on a particular day. Then so, sorry, missed that. Okay, so it's the system tells GoCardless that we want to take it on a particular day, and that would be 5 to 7 days ahead, probably, so that enough notice can be given to the member to say this money is going to be taken in so many days. So it's the gap between raising the charge, the system then GoCardless leaving that gap, then asking the bank to take it, and then once the bank reports back that the money's been taken, they report back to GoCardless, and GoCardless reports back to this system. So there are a few days, so that you have a few days where it will sit here and not there. But once GoCardless gets the money, it then tells the system here that 2650 has arrived, and it will pop it into there, and it will show that it's so this 591 will be upped by that 2650 to show that that's now come into the bank account. So it's this 591's trying to show the situation as the bank account as accurate as possible. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's a case of.
Hello. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Hello. Yeah. What about direct transfers into the bank account?
Right. Okay. So if somebody makes a direct transfer into the account, then at the moment there is no link between the bank account and this system directly. So the way you have to do that is, so if we go into the Sorry, wrong one. So somebody pays their renewal through. So let's say it's Anthony Harris here. He's paid his 20 quid or whatever it is. You select here BACS transfer, click on here, and then you put in the date that you want. So let's say he paid it on the 8th. Again, went to the 1st. Let's make it to the 8th. Right. So a bank transfer on the 8th, and here and click on there. The system will now show that payment has gone into your bank account. So if we go back to the Treasurer's dashboard, you should now be able to see. Actually, it's a 2021 one, so we'll have to get 2021. The bank transfer there is now showing 46.50, and here's Anthony Harris's £10, which appears here, and you on the 8th of April. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. So. Yes. So. Basically, here this dashboard here gives a high level, I think, to enable you to drill down into the various parts of the system to be able to show what who's paid when they paid and yeah. So okay. Obviously, here on this one we've got three because I set it up with the 3 bank accounts and have had payments into it. Breaks it down into these 3. So again, you can click on each of these and go into these separately to see what has actually been paid by whom on the various methods here. So it just gives you a complete breakdown here that you can use as analyzing the information if you need to. Yes, so one thing I started off by saying, I'll just make it sort of clear again. So if we go back to this one here, this is last year. £527 was paid. There's nothing outstanding. So last year's charges were 527. We've actually got 591. That is because we've got some payments in here which relate to this year, i.e. 2021-22. So this cash here can be a mixture of, just let's see if it's they're all this. So these ones here these cash ones are all for 2021 membership, but if we go try and find one that hasn't got that, so right, so these are all dated 31st December as it happens. So these all relate to the 2020 membership. So actually, yeah. So they're all. So it's trying to just show the fact it's how it affects the bank account and not how it affects your membership. The membership information is in the top part. The cash information is in the bottom. Okay. Right. Fine. So just a couple of things down at the bottom here that you've got here. If you want to look at anybody's record at all, rather than you just need to look at somebody's payment record, has he paid or whatever it is, you can just go into here and show the members' details, and that takes you directly. It doesn't take you directly to. Why isn't it taking? Hang on.
Modern technology.
Well, I don't know why. I'll have to look at that. That's right. Generally, this is a test system with a slightly older version of the system, but it may be that hasn't been converted from the old server. Anyway, I'll have a look. Maybe anyway. So you should be able to look at anybody's details. I'll have a look and make sure all your systems do that. Also, you've got here a list of overdue accounts, which you can use as a report to say, people who still owe money either for groups or for the membership. So at the moment, that's what the system thinks should have been paid and hasn't been paid. So these are people who for this year's. Let's have a look. See, why is that person? Why is ZZ still owing money? All right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. So here they are. They've got. You've raised your £10 renewal fee. It's due on the 1st of April. They haven't paid. They're still £10 out. So you can pick up people who still owe money from in that way. Okay. And then also you've got credited accounts as well. That may well there aren't any showing there at the moment, but people can be in credit, and you can keep like account if somebody's overpaid or whatever it is, which I think has happened. £13 you've charged and they've paid 15 for some reason or other. So you can keep control of that information there. Right. Okay. One of the things I will just show you, I didn't show before, was I'm just going into the other system to how you can go into Go Cardless as well to get information out. So you have a thing called the DD record, direct debit record, in the system here, and that gives you a list of direct debits that have been taken and whether they've paid or whether they've failed or whatever it is. And this enables you. So on occasions, people may not have the money in the bank so when the direct debit goes through, it gets rejected. You've got an opportunity here to resubmit it if none of these have come back as a failure, but if anything came back a failure, it would come out here on the cause, and you can just click on there and it will to resubmit the thing to give it another try. So let's just find. Oh, hang on. So I've dropped out of that. I'm just going to find that one. Hang on.
Chris.
Yes.
So if somebody has had a different card for this year, so it was set up last year, and now they have a different card number, how do we know, or how do they know that they need to change their card details? Can we do anything up front?
The card, from a card point of view, it doesn't retain that information, so that if somebody pays with a card again, then they will, each time they pay, they'll put their card number in. So if next year they use a debit card rather than a credit card, then each time they put the number of the card in. So it doesn't remember. Whereas in direct debits, the other way around, it does. Once you've registered a mandate, then the system will record that. So this system records that a mandate is in place, and it gives it a reference, which Go Cardless gives it a reference, so it knows to link them together. But it doesn't. This system doesn't know the bank account or anything, but it knows what to tell Go Cardless to take the money, and that will go on until it's cancelled. So
will they get a message? Will the member get a message?
Yes.
At all?
Yes.
It hasn't worked.
Absolutely. What, that it hasn't worked or has worked?
Hasn't. So if the direct debit's set up, and that card's changed, and we run the direct debit
Yep.
process. Does the member know that an error has occurred? I'm just trying to work through this because we're about to do it.
GoCardless sends out a note, because GoCardless, it's up to you how you set it up, but the system will. Right, let's do it from scratch. When you run your renewals, the system sends out an email to everybody saying, "Here we go," and your direct debit will be taken on the 27th of March or whatever. So when the 27th of March comes, again, the system, if you want it to, sends out a note saying your direct debit has been raised and will be taken on the 27th. So that's normally on something like the 22nd. You do that. When that goes through to GoCardless, and again, if you want it to, GoCardless will also send a note to the member saying this will be taken on the 27th, just warning them. So they get up to 2 emails telling them that it's going to be taken on a particular date. If it fails, then GoCardless sends them a note saying this has failed as well. So it tells us as well as telling them that there's been a failure. And obviously then once you resend it again, then they'll get another 2 emails saying this is now going through on the 5th of May or whatever it is. So there are lots of emails, and in fact you may not want to send them all, but you've got control to decide which emails are going. Okay,
thank you.
So again, you've got this log here of direct debits. If you need to know. Sorry, wrong one. Oh, sorry, gone again. Right. Okay. If you click on here, the thing, it will give you the details of what's being taken. If you click on here and, for instance, on someone like this one here, I noticed it shouldn't jump to the top again, but it gives you, this is a multiple payment, and we'll show you the £27 is made up of a payment you've made for yourself, but also at the same time you're linked with David Cameron, so you take 14 quid off him as well at the same time, and that's what makes up the 27. If you want to get details from GoCardless, again, this PM number is the key number to look at, and again, you've got to search. You click on that and log in, and here is the detail of that particular payment. And it gives you a sort of history of where and when it was done, and and importantly also when it was paid out. In other words, when it was received by you in the bank account, you've got, and then there's another payout reference which you can follow up and get details of what else was in that payout. So there's a link between the two all the time. So let's have a look at. I showed there some multiple payments. So let's have a look at I'll go this way. Oh yeah, I can't log in. I have to log in again. So let's have a look at this one here again. So if you're, you can take multiple payments. That if somebody owes an outing payment and a membership at the same time, if you have allocated them to the same account, then the system will take them in a single one if you want them to. And if they do that, then you get this thing called a multiple payment, and clicking on their record shows what's been taken. Now, in fact, what happened here, they paid their deposit and their balance at the same time. So yes, it was 2 different transactions. It's actually for the same group, but it does show you, gives you a breakdown. there's another one here, which I think is the one we just, no, it's not the one we looked at, but here's one where you're linked with David Cameron, and you've chosen to take your membership fee is £6, but he also owed 30 quid, so you decided to pay for that one as well. So you can get, you can combine them together. This is done in link payments, where you link people together. So you can see here, this particular person's linked to David Cameron. And so anytime you make a payment, you have the option. You're not mandated to take it. It's your just option. And that's here when you click on make a payment. You see, these are all the outstanding items for that particular person, but also the fact so these are all the things that this person set up administrator owes, but also you can see down here, you can take a payment for David Cameron at the same time. So let's say if we decide we'll just take that one and that one by clicking on there and pay now. Oh, hang on. Got to pay for what did I do? I haven't paid the deposit. So if I pay the balance, I've got to pay the deposit. Right. So I paid for these three things, £275. Yes, I want to pay those. So now, right. So now it's asking for the credit card. Now this is the bit that this is not being done by U3AWeb. This is the bit that is being done by. I just put the number in. So this is being done by Stripe. So Stripe has sort of come through the system and put this little box out for to allow you to put the information in. As I say, this is this system. U3AWeb doesn't hold or know this information at all. It's just, and so you make a payment like that. So each time you make a credit card payment, you have to put the the credit card number or debit card number in at the same time. Right. Okay. So is everybody happy with that? Is it, does that make sense? Anything you want me to go back through? You know, there's a few other things I could do after this, but
yeah, Steve here, Chris. Where is the best place to actually put the link payments button? Should it go to the treasurer's sub list, or can it actually be to two places, which would normally be, in our case, obviously the two signatories of the account?
No, the link payments is for the member to assign.
It's for the member, so it's better to put it in the main menu list.
Yes, because they are. What happens is that if somebody, you know, if Mr. Smith decides he wants to pay for Mrs. Smith,
yeah,
he clicks on he clicks on link payments, and he puts in the number of Mrs. Smith, which we'll assume is he puts in Alan Jones.
Yeah.
And that then goes into now Alan Jones now gets an email saying, do you want to be linked with setup administrator? So you can see here it's unconfirmed. Yeah. So until Alan Jones goes in and says, yes, I'm happy to do it, it sits in this unconfirmed status.
Right.
So for instance, you can see that David Cameron has confirmed that he's happy to, because and therefore now they've both got this line here, which is saying unconfirmed. In other words, I want to remove it.
Is that email already set up in the system?
It is a. I think it's a notification. So in other words, yes, I think it's not a. I can't quite remember. I don't think it's an email that can be, the format's changed. Right. It's one of the notifications which the system says Joe Bloggs has has nominated you for payment. Are you happy to do that? So if so, click here. And yes, I can't remember, to be honest, how far it goes. Whether
it's just to make sure that it's not something that we can actually alter.
I don't think so. I will check, and I'll send you a note.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Okay, so one thing which I don't know whether people have whether well, I'll just say it for you've got if you've decided to take direct debits. And you've sort of advertised it to your members. The way in which your member will add or let's go and find somebody who isn't already a direct debit payer. I doubt he is. Why haven't you got it? Oh, this. Let's try that one. 49. Okay. Right. Okay. So actually, this person is and isn't a direct debit payer. So, so that's good. So right. So if somebody wants to become a direct debit payer for the system. They do it by going into my information and creating a direct debit mandate. And because you've got 3 different bank accounts, now I'm sure nobody's actually got 3 bank accounts set up, but the system allows you to have 3 bank accounts. So what it will come, the first thing it does is say, asks you which one of the 3 bank accounts you want to set up a direct debit for. It's only asking 2 here because Alan Jones has already been set up with the 3rd one already. So he already has a direct debit for the events. No, for the other one. So, yeah, but if you want to set up one for, if you wanted to set up for membership, you say yes. You select which one you want, and you click on there, and hopefully, okay, this system's not set. I'm in the wrong system for it. So we'll have to go back to the other system to do it. Hang on. I want to find one which is. Let's try that. Right. So okay, so this one is the you see there's a bit more information here in the latest version. This is the latest version of the system. So again, if you say you want a membership account and qualify for, so this now goes off to Go Cardless. So now you're in the Go Cardless system. It sends your information through, your name, address, and everything. So all you need to do is to put in your bank sort code and account number, and say, okay, yep, that's fine. So Go Cardless now registers that direct debit, not the actual value. This is just the mandate, and now any future payments for that account, the system will take it via direct debit, and that's all they have to do. But now, if they log out and log back in again, it's so. So now, if they want to they want to cancel that mandate, they can just do it by that, and now the system will no longer take it, and it now tells GoCardless to cancel that mandate. So they're back where they started again. So the process is very, very easy for the member, and it makes the life of collecting loads of payments really easy. Right. Okay. So let's have a look at some group payments. If everybody's happy with that, we'll move on. So hang on, back to the other system. So that will log me out. So I'll have to log back in again. So let's go, here we go. So we looked at Paris in the spring a little bit earlier on, and if you need to by clicking on the pound sign inside the group leader can see this information about who's paid, who hasn't paid to join the group. So you can see that there was a charge of 250 set up with a deposit of 50. So this guy's paid the deposit. This guy hasn't paid at all. Then these two guys have paid fully. So that sort of gives you the full information on the payment side of the thing.
Chris,
yes.
What are the mechanics of the group leader getting to the point where they can actually request the money?
Right. Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll set one up from scratch, if you like.
Yes, please.
Right. Okay. Oh, sorry. While I was here, I was just. I'll stay in here. So, what I haven't shown, it could. This person has got a balance to pay, and if I wanted to, if he's paid manually, if he pays by a check, you can just click here and put details in there of the payment and say it was paid by bank transfer. And that records again in the treasurer's dashboard and everywhere that payment has now been made. So let's go back to groups. So first thing to do, you need to set up a payment group as opposed to a standard group. Don't remember that. Put in your group leader, coordinator. Probably best to have won't have a venue. It's going to be done on the 31st of May. Then you can yeah, it's just a weekly on a Mondays, no times. Right. So it depends. If it's just a simple day trip out and it's going to cost 46 quid, and you can just put the information in here, so everybody pays the same. But it could well be that there are optional charges that people may or may not want to include, and if that's the case, you click on the little thing here. So now you've got a breakdown here of what's the basic cost. Well, let's say it's 50 quid. It is. But you may want perhaps they need a taxi to get them to the start point. This is just test data, so or I'm getting confused on the type of thing. But a single run supplement. Let's make it 450. Single run supplement 120. I don't know. Right. So by putting these options in, that when the person comes to apply for it, they'll be asked which of these ones they want to go for. In the same way, you can offer discounts. So if you're going for to a historic house of some sort or some National Trust property, and you're a National Trust member, then you can legitimately ask for, you get 25 quid off. So now you don't put the total cost in, because there is no total cost. There is a variable cost, but you say I need to have it paid by 1st of May. And if you want to take a £10 deposit, which needs to be paid by, I don't know, it's not very good thing, but anyway, £10 here by the 20th of April. This is the point at which you decide which one of your two accounts you put the information into. You're unlikely to put it into membership, but you can do if you want to. But so you decide which account you want it to be applied to. And this is one where Stephen, you might want to, where you didn't really want to account for it, you just want to control it. You can put that information into one of the accounts you don't use.
So this is somebody with group privileges that can do this.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. This is a group leader or group coordinator setting up a new group, which is, if you like, overall it's a group, but basically they're setting up an outing. Yes.
Well, is it a group leader or a group?
It would be. I think. It would be a group coordinator, actually, wouldn't it? Because group leaders can't set up new groups, as I remember.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but they can set up the basics, and then the group leader can put all the detail in. You select your thing. You describe your information. Comments displayed. Most of the, obviously the number of places is key. And you can name of the group or whatever you've decided, and live. And okay. So that creates the group. So now if somebody wants to join that group, let's say I want to join that group. No, hang on. It's not me. Let's just add something. No, I'll do it. I'll log out and go in somebody else. Number 2. So if I go into groups, I call it? Test group and a test payment group, no? Yeah. So apply to join the group. So now I'm deciding. So as the member, I'm now deciding what I want to do. So I can say yes. Obviously, I've got to pay the basic cost. Yes, I want to be picked up from home. No, I don't want to pay the single room supplement, and I do want my discount. So you confirm your application. £435. And so you get a confirmation there. So now as the group leader, I go and have a look here. I can see I can see now the 435. I can get a breakdown of the 435. So the first thing to do is say, yeah, okay, provisionally, I'm happy that Anthony comes. So that now is put them into a status. They've had an email saying, okay, you've been accepted. Now you've got to pay your deposit by particular date and full pay by. Now, if they're doing it online, they can do it online, or if they send in a check, then you can just click, put the check information in. So this breakdown all the time keeps you up to date with how many people you've accepted. So at the moment there's nobody we have accepted because provisionally accepted, should I say?
If someone wants to join and have the money taken by direct debit, yes,
you can do that. If once they right, let's just put somebody in. Oh well, I don't know who's but this. So once you've gone past the process of that, the next direct debit run past the date that's due date, or to ensure that it is. Sorry, it's not done like that way. It's done within so many days of that date. So the direct debit process runs every night and says, is there anybody who's due to pay anything? So it will say, right, Joe Bloggs owes 46 by the 28th of April. So on something like the 22nd of April, it will send off that direct debit to Go Cardless, and Go Cardless will take the amount. Obviously at the right time, but we'll send out an email saying we're going to take your 460 quid on this date, in the same way as membership works.
Okay, so no group leader or group coordinator or treasurer has to have any involvement with that. Once the guy clicks that he wants to pay with direct debit, it's just taken automatically based on a nightly poll.
Based on the dates that you set as your deposit and final dates. Yes. Yeah. So okay. It ensures you get the money on time. Yes. So that's a sort of quick run round the payment groups. Now,
Chris, further question.
Yeah, sure.
With membership money on the direct debit, the membership secretary had to click on take direct debit payments. Is that a thing of the past?
No, the take direct debit payments at the moment relates only to membership.
Yeah, because there's no date, is there? There's no due date as such.
At the moment, there isn't. We haven't. Yes, I know. It's one of the things that's in the pipeline that we actually automate that process a bit more, so that you can set a date and say, well, any time after that point, if there are any direct debits for membership being take them, but at the moment the membership one is an entirely manual process, but the group one, which came afterwards, is an automatic process.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So the other type of payment that can be done is sort of repeat payments within a group. So if we take an example of a, don't know, let's find one. Well, I think the first thing I see is take. This is one that I set up yesterday, and you can see the subscription's overdue already. But just to show you what it looks like, that you've got your pound, the other pound icon here, which is for fees, and this is where you. Oh, I set up another one here. So this shows the detail behind the group fees thing. So in other words, there are four members of this group, and the idea was that on the 13th of which was yesterday, £7 was due to cover the 12 sessions, or whatever you want them to be. And you see that two people have paid by card. David Cameron and number one. One person has paid by manual payment. So in other words, they've come along and given the £7 either by bank transfer or check or cash or whatever. And there's one person still outstanding, as you can see. So the breakdown here. So if you want, so that's, if you like, that covered those sessions. But let's if you wanted to add a group fee, let's do it again. So start date 1st of August. And it'll just be one session. I'll just go for the payment. Due date 31st of July. All the members pay it, and it's £25. Here you have an option. If the group leader wants to just run it as an internal way that they're collecting the money themselves, and they don't want it included in the accounts. It's just their own way of recording who's paid. You set exclude from accounts equal to yes. So this information will not go into what we looked at earlier on, Treasurer's dashboard, or into the accounts we'll look at next time. It's just internal to the group. If you put no in there, then the information will go through. So now you can see, now there's two here. This one is underway, and this is a new one here, and here you've got. So at the moment you haven't confirmed, you haven't finished this one, and you might say, oh well, I don't want Keith Jones to have to pay it, so I can unclick him and update the list, and now I've only got 3 people who's going to pay. I can change any of the other things that we put in. I can obviously delete it, and the green tick here is to confirm it, to say yes, I've set it up. This is how I want it. So now that if you like, that becomes a charge which is sort of set in stone. And so now that money is now owed by those people. But obviously, since we put yes exclude from accounts, it won't show in their finance record. It won't show in anywhere else. It just shows it in here as money owed. So it's. But if you do let it in the accounts, then direct debits and credit cards, all those things apply in the same way as any other payment. So
was a group that you set up, Chris, which was for a 12-week period. Now, when it gets to the end of that 12-week period, or shortly before, can you levy another charge in the same way for a further 12-week period?
Yes, that's, if you like, that's really what I've done here. I put the next one in, and you can just, and in fact, you can overlap them and say, oh, well, this one hasn't quite, that's the 12 one hasn't finished, but we're set up for the next one so that people know that they can go for the next one. Yeah, you can. So you can set up as many as you like against a single group.
Okay.
And here we've set this one up for these 3 people. The system knows that one of these is being taken by direct debit, and the other 2 are showing as unpaid. So you can override it with a manual payment if you want to. I think we actually said that this one was a yes, so excluded, so it won't be taken by direct debit. So that might be a little bug in the system there. But anyway, so if the money comes through, you can just sort of say, oh, here is a cash payment, check payment, sorry. And so now that's shown as paid by cash on today. So it's a system that you can use to run it yourself as a group leader, or you can put it into the accounts as you want to do. Right, okay. I think the other thing which I just want to show you is how easy reporting can be. Because of this, because we're just looking at this one table. I'll have to come out and go into somebody else. Hang on.
You're in 902. No. Stop that.
So just to start with, I'll just show you one that I just a simple one that I set up yesterday. All this was to do is to say, tell me online payments since the 1st of April, I think it was. And what it's doing here is giving you the reference number, how much was paid, and a person's name and their ID. And that's simply by putting because I've actually used a second table just to put the person's name in, but just to, it's just saying sort of transaction date greater than the 1st of March. Oh, this is people who paid since the 1st of March. Oh, and they paid by credit card. So those were people who paid by credit card from the 1st of March. It's a very simple one to do. But what I'll do is I'll start a new one and just start from scratch. So if you want, no, let's find this. So this is the table that you need, payments. And the key fields in here, payment ID actually is the membership number, value, Well, it could be as simple as just adding those two and sort of saying, okay.
Chris,
Yes.
who has access to this report writer, this report manager?
It is an authority level in the system. So anybody you give the authority level to report writer, but
Okay.
but obviously this has got sort of confidential information in as well. So there's a sort of privacy issue there. But what you can do, the report writer authorize those who have the authorization can create reports which can be just run by individual members. So you can say, okay, look, I'll do this in a minute just to show you that. So very simple one. I just say membership number and value. Actually, no, I will take a payment type as well, because otherwise it'll just get silly. Right. Okay. So simply just put that information in, and then we'll say payment type equal to 1. All you've got to do is give it a name. I'm just going to do that to make sure it comes out at the top. Didn't do that right, did I?
No.
Right, yes, sorry. One of the vital things you have to remember to do, which I've just forgotten to do, is once you've decided what it is and put your 1 in, you have to click this little add button, because what it's doing is what's down in this box, and I forgot to do that. So so there we go. So there are 42 payments there. So it's a very simple report, but it's very easy to provide, get information out. Now, if you want to save it, you'll probably ask for a sort order, I think. Oh, no, it hasn't. Okay. Right. So that's created a report. So if we go back to reports. Here it is. So if you've got the authority, you can go in there and run that one, run them all whenever you want. It's now there and been saved. Now, if you want to create it for somebody else, then you use this thing called My Reports. So if we've just created this one called Yeah. Right. So now you're going to say who can actually see that. So if we just make number 2. So I've now said that me is number 1 and number 2 can see that report. If we now log out and go into number 2, in my information, there's a thing. So my reports, and there you go. So now so when Anthony Arthurs logs in and looks at his reports, he can look at that report we've just created. Nobody else can, just him, because he's the only one we allocated it to. He can't go back and change it or anything like that. All he can do is see it. So it's a way of giving access to people who you don't want to give the confidential information about, but you can just let them see particular things that you want them to see. Okay, right. I think probably I've been round pretty much everything I wanted to show. Does anybody want to raise anything or ask me to go through it again?
Chris, Steve here. Just which buttons, if you like, should we set up within the system directory and also in the sub list for the treasurer? Which buttons should they have, basically?
Right. So are you saying, are we talking about what's in the side menu?
Yes, in the side menu for the treasurer. I mean, what should they have? And if there is a problem with also giving them, because we've obviously got the treasurer and the membership secretary are both the signatures for the accounts. Now, if we give one a menu button, will it muck up if we also give access to it to the second person?
No, no. If you're happy that they can see all that information and do things, then you can have as many authorizers as you like in the authorization. So so you can have two people in here without any problems. Now, we did run into a little difficulty where I think, now let me get it right. Crew wanted to be able for the membership secretary to have access to a particular report, paying into bank, I think it was, and Congleton didn't want the membership secretary to have it, and so we ended up giving that particular one access through the secretary authority level. So so there's that little anomaly in the system at the moment, to allow both of those things to be achievable.
Right.
So pretty much the treasurer's this is probably a pretty much complete list of the items that the treasurer can have. Payment options, which we looked at earlier on.
Yep.
Payments report is something is quite an old report. I'm not sure whether anybody uses it anymore, but it's have a little look. It gives a month by month detail of payments in that have been paid in a month for each group. So it goes forward.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't remember how many months. It goes back 4 months, 5 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 months. So I don't know whether anybody uses that, but it's been there since the start. So it's Treasurer's dashboard. We looked at refund authorizers. This is where you have multiple people. So you have an authorizers list and say these are the people who can authorize refunds through the system. And so only if they log in, they are able to do that. So, and you can't add them here. You add them in authorities, but you can change information about them here, the sequence in which they're applied, and decide whether one or more have to be an obligatory authorizer. In other words, so in other words, you probably make your treasurer the obligatory one. They must be there, but any one of the other three you've got in there could possibly do it.
Right. So that allows for 3, you're saying, to be put in. Is that the maximum? I mean, not that we have.
No. I think you can have as many as you like.
You can have.
It's the same as authorization. You can have as many authorizers for particular things as you want to. It's right. You set it in. Refunds is the process that the refund authorizer goes through. Payment log. I'm not sure payment logs even is actually. Yeah, it's still there, but I don't think it's been overtaken by these two, the Stripe record and what I was going to show you the Stripe record earlier on, which I didn't do, so I'll do that now. So in the same way there's a direct debit list, there is also a Stripe list of showing credit card payments in chronological sequence, the latest at the top. So if you want to check what's on whether someone's been paid, you've got you've got here the person's name. These are the 4 processes that the system goes through in order to complete a payment. So, you know, and hopefully we go through pretty quickly, and all 4 should be there. But if something goes wrong, then this is the process. You can see, oh right, it got to stage 2 and didn't finish, or whatever. Values, the details on there. Again, I think you get So if there's a multiple payment there, you get details of the multiple payment there as well. So. And of course, you've got this CH number, which is the number that gets you to find out the Okay. Right. Okay.
Chris, could I just ask a question? We've aligned our system with Stripe, but I noticed that it's not. We actually collect membership payments 1 month early to the 1st of March, but we've done it to the 1st of April. So because it's only 1 month, can I go back and populate that data, which is really our membership fees in advance?
What do you mean by populate? I mean, what do you want?
Well, I've only got the data on my U3AWeb since the 1st of April. I didn't realise that we'd aligned it with Stripe. This is the first time I've seen that data, apart from I knew the monthly fees aligned, if you know what I mean, the statement that I get for the monthly fees, the invoices. But I don't seem to have the 1st of March payments by Stripe on my dashboard. Maybe it's something I'll speak to our web administrator about. Stuart, are you there? We could maybe have a talk about it, see if it's worth it. Otherwise, I'll just have 11 months of data.
No, it's definitely there. If you paid it through there, it'll definitely be there.
Oh, okay.
So
it will be there.
Okay, Stuart, maybe help me find it, because I noticed that it's there from the 1st of April, but and that aligns with the Stripe payments that I get into the bank account, but I can't see any for March.
It'll be in the previous year.
Okay, I'll have a look, Pat. Thanks.
Yeah, so if it's the cash thing, so it'll be. I think what we said earlier on, that if it's those items will be, as far as the cash is concerned, the bottom part of it will be in the previous year, but if they apply to 21-22, which it sounds as though they do, then they should appear in the top. That's where we're talking about Llandudno, are we?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think maybe you missed that, Carol. I'll explain that to you later if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. Right. So just go back to what else you've been. Financial transactions, paying into bank, confirm entries, bank accounts. We'll go through all those next week as the sort of the second stage of
Chris, is that where we'll set up the ghost account?
The ghost account being?
Well, remember we talked about the fact that we actually have 5 accounts, but one of the and I've talked to Mary about how to rearrange where the accounts go, but we also talked about there could be a ghost account where the travel group actually used the payment group system to record the transactions, but it wouldn't actually go into the actual treasurer's money because it's checks paid, and they go directly to the travel agent.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. I think we'd perhaps need to take that one offline, because we just need to work out exactly how you're going to do that, because it would be okay if you weren't using all the accounts, but it sounds as though you probably are going to be using all the accounts. So we'll have to work out how to do that. I'm sure there's a way.
And I can't add a bank account. I don't know if it's because I don't have the privileges on the test system.
No, the system at the moment is limited to 3 bank accounts.
Yeah. I know, but at the moment, our test system's only got 1 set up, as far as I can see.
Okay. Well, really? Okay. Right, I'll have a look at that then. Yeah,
Okay,
if
thank you.
it shouldn't have. It should have 3. So, okay, I'll check up.
All right, thank you.
But yes, I think we probably might need to just sort of have a separate chat about how we get those 5 accounts into 3.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, we need Mary to be involved as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine.
Chris, I'm sorry I was late joining, but everything fell apart. We aren't on the finance system yet, and we need to start doing it, I think. Did you deal with that at the start? Of how
Yes.
we actually...
Well, we haven't really covered the account system today. We've covered the...
I'm just using the finance system on the website. I mean, just getting in. I mean, I've been doing the membership
Yes.
monies and checking those, but there's a lot of information there that isn't in, because as you said, people have paid too much, and I haven't necessarily gone in and said, you know, they've paid £10 instead of £5. I'm going to need to do that when we decide to join the system.
Yes. Right. You have reminded me that there is something else which I didn't go through and I should have gone through, which I think you and I have talked about quite a lot recently. So, and that is that if somebody overpays, let's go into. Oh, actually, there's one already set up. Right. If we go into this one here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll just use this one. So if we just take the example here that somebody they haven't paid, but it doesn't matter. If you had a payment of 10, you charged them £10, and for some reason they paid 12, or you want to make an adjustment to this for other reasons, you've got this thing up here, or the treasurer has got this thing here, this button here. Which allows you to make additional, well, let's say financial transactions into the payments file. So, for instance, here, so if somebody overpaid by £2 or something, then you can put that £2 into here just by putting the 2 in there. It's payment. It's made for the year 21-22. It was a membership fee payment, and it came in by check. You may want to put some comments in there about why and whatever. By doing that, that now adds this item here, and now. So you can use this to either add charges or refunds, or just make adjustments up or down to either the charges and the payment. So for instance, if you want to just give them let the system know that if they've underpaid, for instance. You've gone in and said they actually only gave you 8 instead of 10, and you want to actually say, "Oh, okay, we'll just do that." You can go through there, and you effectively give them a refund of 2 just to record the fact that it's only 8 rather than 10. So, and there's all sorts of options you can make here in terms of putting in adjustments to because the way the system works.
Yeah, what I've got, as I say, I've got about £66, I think, of people overpaying. And next year, when they renew, I'd like to give them that money back. Is it possible to adjust their payment fee for next year through the system here by giving a credit next year?
The way I would suggest you do that, if you've got, how many people did you say?
There must be 15 or so.
Okay, I would suggest that what you can't do is you can't change the amount of the renewal. However, if you put in the fact that they have overpaid, and then when you send it out next year, say to them, okay, I know I've sent out a bill for 10, just pay me 8 by check, and then you can record the payment, and then you reverse out the fact that of this payment here. So you can account for it, but it's not
automatic.
It's not automatic. You could do it by, but no, you couldn't do it. No. I think that's fine. Because everyone's going to be different, isn't it? So there's no standard.
Oh, yeah. I'd have to send them all a separate email. Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yes. Okay. Right. Anybody else want to raise anything? Is everybody happy that is there anything particular, if you're all coming along to next week, is there anything particular you want me to cover which I haven't covered today, which I may not be covering? Well, if there is, let me know, send me an email, and I'll try and include it in for next week.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Can I just ask a very quick question? I noticed you were selecting years. No.
Yes. I'm selecting what, sorry?
Selecting specific years in a drop-down menu.
Yes.
Yeah. I just wondered, is there anything to protect you from accidentally back-posting something into a previous year's accounts that has been finalised?
Yes, there is. Once you've finished, when we get to the account side next week, once you've sort of finished the accounts, you can lock the accounts as complete. And so even if you put it into 2015-16, it won't actually apply it to 2015. It'll apply it afterwards. I think it'll apply it to the first available year. So as long as you've locked it up to the end.
Thanks. That answers that.
Chris, how do you lock it?
And how do you lock it? At the beginning of this, that you were going to record this and put it on YouTube.
This recording of this one and next week's? Yes.
Yeah. This week's, yeah.
So did I hear somebody ask how you lock it?
Yes, it was me, Pat.
Yes, there's it's one of the systems in systems details. It's one of the tables in, I'll see. I don't know. I'm not quite sure whether it's in this system. I hope it is. I hope it to be there. Yeah, lock account dates.
All right, brilliant. Thank you.
Not entirely up to date, but that's how you do it anyway. Yes, put your date in there.
Okay, cheers.